video. You may be aware, if you've watched any of my videos about reading plans for the year or TBRs and things like that, that one of my big goals for 2026 is to reduce the number of unread books on my shelves. Now, I don't have a problem with having lots of unread books on the shelves. I don't care if other people have ginormous TBRs. Absolutely no judgment. I really don't mind. But for me, I just think I don't really have a lot of shelf space, and I would like to kind of reduce it down to something a bit more manageable. Also, I think that me just adding to my TBR and spending money on books that I then don't read seems rather foolish, when actually I really don't have a lot of money, so I can't really be doing that. And also, I think that reflecting on my TBR, I think sometimes there are books that I was very enthusiastic about when I first bought them, and then I'm just not anymore after a while. So for all of those reasons, I just want to reduce the number of unread books on my shelves. At the start of 2026, I had 120 books. I think we're down to about 110 now, through a mixture of me reading books and a couple that I've DNF'd. But I'm just kind of slowly making progress, and I'm quite happy with that, actually. But what I thought I would do is a little video where I kind of try some of the books on my TBR. So this is a kind of try a chapter video, I guess. And the reason for that is that I was looking at my shelves recently, and I was reflecting on the kinds of books that are on my TBR. Now, there are, of course, quite a few recently acquired books, and most of those are from my book advent calendar at Christmas. But there are still quite a few books that are a little bit older that I've just never kind of got round to reading. And I really started to reflect when I was looking at these books that some of these books I think I bought entirely based on vibes, and I'm not entirely sure if they are the kind of books that I will actually really love. I recently DNF'd a book that had been on my shelf for over 12 months, I think, and I know I bought it based on just reading the blurb on the back of the book. And then when I read the first chapter, well, not even the first chapter, the first page, I just thought, wow, this is not really my kind of style at all. This is not really engaging for me. You know, everyone has their own particular style that they're interested in or that they like when they read a book, and it just wasn't for me. And I thought that was really interesting, because I'm pretty sure I do that all the time. I pick up a book based on the cover or the author. Maybe I've read the author before, or based on the fact that the title sounds interesting, and then maybe I'll read the description on the back and think, yeah, this sounds really good, this sounds really interesting. But I never, ever open the book and read a bit of it, like in the bookshop or in the library. I just don't do it, and I don't know why. And I see my wife and other people doing this all the time, and I always think, why don't I do that? Seems a bit dumb, but so many of the books that are on my shelves, I just have picked up. Most of them secondhand, actually. I'm just looking at a pile down here, that's why I keep looking sideways. But most of them I've picked up secondhand, and most of them I've picked up based on vibes. So one of the things that I hope reading through my TBR this year will give me is, or maybe it'll push me, actually, and rather than giving me something, it'll kind of push me into a new way of looking at the reading that I do, or the books that I acquire. I would like to spend money on books that I've already read a little bit of, so actually opening that first page, Jen, and just reading a couple of lines, and I could probably tell whether I like a book, given that's what I do at home when I pick up and flip a couple of pages and then think, ugh, I don't like this. I could just do that in a shop. But some of these books I bought from publishers or from small bookshops, but I bought them online, and I don't know how to get away from that unless I just don't do that anymore. I don't know, maybe it's okay to occasionally buy something that you've never read. Anyway, what I thought I would do in this video, though, after that very long preamble, is I have gone to my shelves, I have a pile of books here, and for a variety of different reasons, I am thinking that these books might not be the kind of books that I like, despite the fact they're on my shelves. And I would really like to find out. So I guess the title of this video, it might be something like, do I even like these books? Who knows? I'm going to talk you through them one by one. So the first book that I have got here is a non-fiction book by Nell Dunn, and this is called Talking to Women. Now, I picked this up from Silver Press, who are a small publisher, and I think there was a discount, and I bought maybe 3 or 4 of their books. A couple of them I've liked, a couple of those I DNF'd, and this is the final one of the kind of batch that I bought. And this is from 1964. This is Nell Dunn, who spoke to 9 of her friends over a bottle of wine, and it's just their kind of stories about life and about, it says it's about sex, work, money, babies, freedom, and love. And it sounds really, really interesting. I bought it because it was kind of part of this package of, you know, discounted books. We all fall into that habit, don't we? Or fall into that trap, rather. And it just sounds really interesting. And I think each one is like a conversation. One of the women I can see here is Edna O'Brien. I don't really recognise too many of the other names. But the reason why I don't know if I will like this is it is just, I don't know if you can see this, but it's almost like, no, you probably can't see this at all, but it's almost like a script where it's just, Nell says this and then Kathy says that, and then it's just kind of scripted like that. And I don't know if I'll find that particularly engaging, so I haven't been drawn to read this. So I'm going to try a bit of this and see what I think. So that was a book that I bought new. I'm now going to separate these into ones that I did buy new. Another one that I bought new is The Catchers by Xan Brooks. I bought this because it was longlisted for the Walter Scott Prize a couple of years ago, and on a whim I thought, oh, I'm going to read my way through the Walter Scott books. And I bought, I think, about 3 or 4 of them. And did I buy? No, that's not true. I bought 2 of them, and then I had about another 4 or 5 from the library. And I tried the library ones first because they normally have to go back quicker. And pretty much all of them I disliked or didn't really like. And then the other one that I bought, I'm not going to say what it is here, it's a very popular book, but I DNF'd it because I didn't like it. So I think that's the reason why this one has kind of suffered. I didn't know anything about this. I just bought it because it was on a long list, which I've definitely moved away from doing that. I think I should only get those books from libraries if I can, if they're available from the library, because just buying a whole bunch of books on a long list, it always seems for me not to work, because I always end up with ones that I just haven't got around to and are still on my shelf. So that's the reason why I have that one. What else did I buy new? Oh, I've got one more, I think, that I bought new. And this is Omar Youssef Suleimane's The Last Syrian. If this cover looks familiar but you don't recognise this book, insert other book here, which I've forgotten the name of. No, I can't remember. There's another book with exactly the same cover, and this is the problem with publishers using stock images, because that cover's lovely. This cover's also lovely because it's the same picture. But all I knew about this book was that it was a gay story set in Syria, so I bought it. I mean, it's all I know. I don't know anything. I don't even know about the plot. I don't know about the author. It's a translated book, a rare narrative of gay love in the Arab world. That's all it says. I haven't read any. It's a massive font, and it's a tiny book. I should be able to read it quickly. But yeah, I bought it. I don't even remember. I might have bought it from Gaze the Word. Can't remember. But I remember ordering it online, and it was slightly torn when it arrived. That's literally all I know about the book. So that is the last one of this like pile of 10 that I bought brand new. The rest of them, let me have a look. Oh, there's one that I got from a publisher, and they sent it to me. And I'm not sure I'm going to like it, and I think not because of what it is, but because of the way that it's written. Anyway, I'll show you. It's Josephine Baker's Fearless and Free, a memoir. I think this I thought was a memoir, but actually, I guess it's kind of a memoir, but it's been constructed, I think, by somebody else, and it's based on conversations that she had with a journalist. And I think because of that, I'm less inclined to read it, because it's not a memoir that she wrote herself. It's been marketed as a memoir, but it's compiled by someone else. Anyway, I don't really know. I don't really know much about it, and it was sent to me, and so it's been on my shelf for a while. I love Josephine Baker, and I'm fascinated to find out more about her, but I don't know if this is the right medium through which to do it, or what. Anyway, I need to give it a go and see what I think of it. So that is book number 4. The 5th is actually a book I think I got in my book advent calendar 2 years ago, and is one of only a handful that I still haven't read. But that book is John Fowles' The Ebony Tower. I just don't like this cover, and I think this is one of the things that books that don't have pretty covers when they're on my shelves, and I just think, I don't want to. But it's also like, I don't like, it smells a bit, it's quite old, and it's, I don't know what it is, I just like aesthetically, the book is probably great, but I don't gravitate towards it. I did like The French Lieutenant's Woman as well by him, but I didn't love it. So maybe that's why I'm not gravitating towards it. But I thought when I was pulling out ideas for this video, this is another kind of book that it's just, It was a secondhand copy. It wasn't really my choice. It was, I guess, in a way gifted to me because it was in the book advent calendar. And it's probably great, but I'm just not gravitating towards it for that reason. Okay, so the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're halfway through. The next 5, again, all secondhand books. The first one is something that I bought because I thought this isn't the kind of thing that I would normally pick up. I would normally ignore it. I saw it in a charity shop. It was only £1. But, you know, I thought, this looks like it might be quite good fun, and I just bought it. And that is The Woman in the Library by Sulari Gentill. This is a mystery novel. I think it's about someone who gets murdered in a library. And everyone who's in the library is a suspect in Boston Public Library. But because it's not the kind of book that I would normally read, I just don't gravitate towards it. I don't pick it up. So I'm keen to kind of give it a go. It's got a tiny font. Tiny. I'm an old lady. I've got old eyes. So the next one that I picked up because I thought this sounds unusual. And I wonder if sometimes when I pick up books because I think, ooh, this sounds quirky, when I look at them on the shelf, I just think, I don't want to read that. It's a bit too weird. This is actually, I guess it's a biography. But anyway, a sort of memoir. It's a memoir, I think. But it's by Margaret Drabble, and it's called The Pattern in the Carpet, a personal history with jigsaws. So it's Margaret Drabble's memoir of her life, but through jigsaws that she's owned and liked. You know why I bought it? It's because at the time when I found this in a secondhand shop, I was working for someone who was friends with Margaret Drabble. And I'd never read any Margaret Drabble, so I felt like, because she talked about Maggie so often, I thought I should get one of Maggie's books. And I saw this and thought, well, this sounds fun. And I still haven't read it. So that's kind of another category, I guess, of books that are on my TBR. The next kind of category, I think, is I've got a couple like this. And I picked this one out as an example. It's a book that it's by an author I've read before, but I don't love their writing. And I kind of thought, let's give them a second chance. And I'm sure there are lots of people like this who see, you know, have that same thing where they see a book by an author that they didn't hate, but they didn't totally love. And so they think, well, okay, let's give it another go. And that is Small Rain by Garth Greenwell. This is, I think I want to say it's his third novel. Is it his third novel? Yeah, because Cleanness was his second. What Belongs to You is his first novel, which I thought was fine. I DNF'd Cleanness because I didn't like it, and then I thought, you know, I'm gonna give this a go. This was like, I mean, it's a big hardback, and it was in a charity shop for I think £2, I think, and it's great condition. So I thought, well, why not? So I picked it up, and the difficulty is when you know you haven't loved an author's work before, you're not gravitating towards having a read of it. Okay, the last two, I guess, fit into the category of intimidating books. One of them is like, it's a hyped book, and it's kind of intimidating because of the pressure I feel to like this book because lots of other people have liked it. And that is the Book of Form and Emptiness by Ruth Ozeki. I know lots of people have loved this, and I kind of feel a pressure to love this for that reason. And I feel a little intimidated to start something that so many people love. So I just haven't gravitated. And again, got it from a charity shop for a couple of pounds. I shouldn't be intimidated. The final one is only intimidating because it's massive, and there are quite a few books on my shelves which I know will stay for a very long time because they are really big. This book is humongous, and this is The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois by Honorée, Fanonne, Jeffers. And this, I mean, it's ginormous. I think it's a softback, so it's hardback size. So this is a normal size paperback, so it's hardback size, but it's got a soft cover rather than a cloth. And it was $4.99. The price is written on the inside there. And it just weighs an absolute ton. And I'm so intimidated by this book, mostly because it's massive. And I don't like big books. So what I'm going to do is, this is going to be part one of the video. I have introduced these books. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a chapter of each of these. And I am going to decide if I'm going to DNF any of them, instantly get rid of them, or if I'm going to read them straight away, which is probably unlikely, or if I'm going to just put them back on my shelf to be read. So the reason I'm doing this in 2 parts is I want your input. So you've seen all the books. I will list them. I was going to try and pick them up. Some of these are too heavy. I will also list them in the description box so that you can have a little look in case you've forgotten everything I just showed you. And let me know if you think I should read, oh my goodness me, any of these books. Which ones you think I should definitely read, which ones you're not a fan of. We get rid of them. Let me know all of your thoughts on those particular books. And I will hopefully see you soon in part 2 of this video. And until then, thank you so much for watching.